You have probably seen it happen to someone else. A person walking through a square, unbothered, not doing anything in particular, and the pigeons move toward them. Not running, not flying, just adjusting, closing the distance by a few feet, reorienting, tracking. The person keeps walking and the birds follow at the edges of their path, as if pulled by something invisible. You watched it and thought nothing of it. Maybe you assumed the person had food. Maybe you assumed it was random. But there is a third possibility, one that researchers have spent years documenting, and it has nothing to do with food and nothing to do with chance. What those pigeons were responding to was a signal, one the person did not know they were sending, one you may be sending to right now, without any awareness that it is being received. Right now, in every city on Earth, pigeons are running continuous assessments of every human being they encounter. Not instinct, not reflex. Deliberate, learned, individually stored evaluation, the same cognitive process that underlies human social judgment, compressed into a brain the size of a walnut. They know which faces are safe. They know which body carries threat. They know which person, out of the hundreds who pass a given square each day, is the one worth following. Subscribe before we go further, because what pigeons have learned to read in you, in the particular way you move, the specific signals your body produces, without your knowledge, will make you feel, for the first time, like you have been watched more carefully than you realized. Most people will walk past a pigeon today and notice nothing. You are about to understand exactly what it noticed about you. The science starts with a study most people have never heard of. In 2011, researchers at the University of Paris published findings from a series of experiments conducted in a public park. Two researchers, dressed identically, behaved differently toward pigeons. One ignored them. One chased them away. Then they switched roles and returned. The pigeons, who had no way to distinguish the researchers by clothing or size, responded differently to each individual, avoiding the one who had previously threatened them, even when that person was now standing still, doing nothing. The birds had stored a face, not a category of human, not a general threat signal, a specific individual, recognized on sight, behavior updated accordingly. A pigeon weighs around 300 grams, roughly the weight of a can of soup. The face recognition system running inside that weight is indistinguishable in its outcomes from the one you use to recognize your own family. Most people assume that animals respond to behavior in the moment that a bird flees because you are moving toward it right now, not because of what you did 3 weeks ago. The reality is considerably more unsettling. Pigeons in urban environments maintain what researchers describe as individual behavioral profiles for the humans in their territory. The man who feeds them every Tuesday morning at the fountain is not just a food source. He is a recognized individual with a stored history of kindness, whose approach triggers a specific learned response that is entirely different from the response triggered by the woman who shooed them away last month. The pigeon does not know it is doing this. It has no concept of memory as a faculty. It simply acts, and the action has been shaped by an accumulation of information that would take a human diary to contain. Elephants are famous for their memory. Crows have been studied extensively for grudge, holding across years. The pigeon, which nobody studies with any urgency, has been doing the same thing in your city, around your daily path, for as long as you have been walking it. So what is the signal? What separates the person the pigeons move toward from the person they ignore? Researchers at Keio University in Japan, studying bird responses to human body language, found that the single most consistent predictor of pigeon approach behavior was not food, not eye contact, not even stillness. It was pace. Specifically, the rate of deceleration. A person who slows down near birds, even fractionally, even without any conscious intention, triggers a shift in the flock's collective assessment. The slowing is read as attention. Attention, in the pigeon's learned experience of humans, correlates strongly with feeding. The person who drifts rather than strides, who moves through the square at the pace of someone, who is looking rather than going, that is the person the birds have learned to track. You have been broadcasting this signal your entire life. Every time you slowed near a ledge without knowing why. Every time you paused at a square for a moment longer than you needed to. The birds in your city have been reading that data and filing it. Whether you are one of them, one of the people the pigeons have quietly categorized as worth following, you already know the answer. You just never had the language for it until now. Tell me in the comments, have pigeons ever seemed to follow you or move toward you when you were not expecting it? I want to hear about it. I read everyone. You were never just passing through. They noticed.